A happy new year, or should I say happy movie year? Like year for movies, because it sure is one, isn't it, Luke?
Yeah, there's so many great movies coming out this year.
Mm.
Yeah, the so many great comic book movies to pick from, and also franchise spin-offs. We're in for another fantastic year.
Mm.
No, but like obviously, I think everybody is looking forward to the Odyssey, right?
Yeah, because of it's going to be so historically accurate.
The Odyssey didn't actually happen. I don't think Odysseus fought a Cyclops.
Well, yeah, sure, but it would still be annoying. I think we could agree if he pulled out an AK-47. But no, yeah, I mean, it feels like the Odyssey. I feel like they're wearing capes in that. So even Christopher Nolan's making cape shit this year. Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past, we give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke, and this week we are celebrating our Oscar extravaganza. I don't even know if I had a particular term for the Oscar season that I used, but it is Oscar season, so we are looking at the films that we know for an absolute definite fact are nominated for Oscars at this coming Academy Awards. And one of those things that has, of course, been announced as one of the nominees, one of the 10 nominees that have been announced, is One Battle After Another. So, Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about One Battle After Another?
Yeah, so One Battle After Another has not been nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah, they didn't think it was very good.
At the Oscars yet, but it definitely will be. It can't not be. So we feel safe reviewing this movie. I think the new Chloe Zhao Shakespeare ripoff. I mean, whatever it is. That also is going to get nominated. But yeah, we're doing One Battle After Another today because, as you said, Michael,
we're most certain.
It's the most wonderful time of the year where we look at the Best Picture nominees for the Oscars. And yeah, this is the first year we are not doing the previous year's nominees.
Yeah.
We did that last year, and we had to watch a ton of movies last year.
I'm so glad those days are behind us.
Yeah, so let's get into One Battle After Another, which of course may actually end up winning Best Picture at this year's Oscars. So it is a 2025 American black comedy action thriller film written, co-produced, and directed by Paul Thomas Anderson. The fact is, we are going to, or at least I am for sure, going to be discussing the fact that this is a PTA movie. Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah, because he's a famous director.
He is a famous director. He is pretty famous, I think, and that's the selling point. People will go and see the new PTA movie. So yeah, we're going to talk about him in this review, and his motivations behind making this movie and what's in this movie. So it stars. By the way, I'm not sure if you're aware, but it's an adaptation of the novel Vineland. By the way.
Oh yes, I did actually see that.
Yeah. Again, it's inspired, maybe not adapted from. But yeah, it stars Leonardo DiCaprio, who of course might win Best Actor at the Oscars potentially. Sean Penn, who may win Best Supporting Actor. It stars Benicio del Toro as well. Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity, which is just an insane name, to be honest. Chase Infinity.
Yeah. So this is the black, the black girl, right?
What were you going to call her?
Oh, I was going to. I don't really know what I was going to call her, to be honest. I think I had like a specific. I don't think whatever it was. I don't think it involved me sounding like I was going to say anything sinister. I was just trying to.
I think it did.
Okay, cool. Well, that's fine. Look, at the end of the day,
is it fine?
It's okay. Like it's okay because like
is it okay?
They're allowed to say it.
But
they're allowed to say it, so I should be allowed to. It's kind of like I'm just saying it's a bit racist if I'm not allowed to say it.
Right, fair enough. Okay, yeah. That's your defense. So, the movie was released on September the 26th, 2025 in the US. Can you tell me what the budget was, Michael, for One Battle After Another? And I think you were going to get this massively wrong.
Oh, good. In that case, there's no pressure. It's got Leonardo DiCaprio in it, so I feel like in a way, like maybe he commands us. I don't know. I'm going for anyway. I don't care.
You were using your brain there for a second, so let's turn that brain back on.
Well, okay, so like I guess then like probably even more then, but I don't know.
Yeah,
like 80 million.
Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, these are big names.
100 million.
The budget
120 million.
The budget is you still haven't got it. The budget
160 million.
Hey, you're in the right zone. It's 130 to 175.
It's a lot of money,
which is quite insane, to be honest. Again, I probably would have guessed around, like maybe 100. So I would have been off. because there is. The movie looks great, which we'll get into, and of course there are quite a few stars, including Leonardo DiCaprio. But yeah, that's a lot of money, 175 million. I don't know if that includes marketing. Anyway, Michael, can you tell me how much this made at the box office?
No, I don't know. I know I saw people talking about it. So I don't know. Like I'm not going to go like absurdly high, and you're going to make fun of me. But I'm going to say 300 million.
No, not even that. Only 205.
Shit. Yeah, they're fucking losers, man.
I mean,
I would kill myself if I only made $205 million.
So, Michael, can you tell me what you thought of One Battle After Another?
I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was a solid movie with pretty simple plot, pretty cat and mouse. There's a vendetta. Well, I don't know. Is it a vendetta? A cover up, I suppose, because it's not really. I mean, he's kind of vendettaing because he was reverse raped. There's a not father son. There's a parent guardian. Fucking, I'm killing myself. There's a guardian child thing. It's just got all the things a movie needs. And it's got some good action. Good solid movie is my opinion on it. But I understand that you hated it.
So do you think this should be a Best Picture nominee?
Nominee? Probably. I wouldn't say this is on par with a Best Picture winner.
Okay.
Yeah,
right.
That's my take.
That's interesting. So, of course...
even though it probably will be, but...
Yeah, well, I
I'm
think
always wrong.
It's the favourite. That can change, though. So, do I like this movie? Yeah, I think that this is a very watchable movie. It's certainly compared to fucking Phantom Thread, another one of PTA's movies. It's very watchable.
Oh yeah, like it's pleb friendly, I would actually say.
Yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining. I think it's got wide appeal. But it is not a masterpiece, and that is what is kind of frustrating because I think it could have been even better than it is. I think PTA goes back to his old hunting ground. Is that the phrase, right? His old hunting ground. You know what I mean? Yeah. In terms of the relationship between a parent and their kid, which is present in a lot of his movies. Yeah, there's some very interesting dynamics which are kind of ignored or sidelined. Particularly the female revolutionary played by Tiana Taylor. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, by the way. I'm not quite sure, but of course, who betrays her group, the French 75.
Yeah, for BWC.
That again, it's she's just then kind of her presence is still she's referred to now and again after the movie, after her part in the movie ends. Yeah, I was surprised how the movie just sort of ignored her and her daughter, of course, Willa. What she would think of her mom, and her.
Yeah, there's a lot of dynamics that are left kind of unexplored in this movie.
Yeah, and I think particularly that dynamic, which I was expecting to be more present in the second part of the movie, and it just wasn't present. And again, there is a lot of focus. Again, it's like the second half of the movie, especially at the end, it's like just entertaining, just like this cat and mouse chase, like it's fun. But again, there could be something a bit more going on, and therefore it is still very good. I think it deserves to be a Best Picture nominee, and it might win, but I don't think it's like this masterpiece. But yeah, that it's kind of frustrating like that. And obviously, I think PTA, we've reviewed I don't think we have reviewed There Will Be Blood. We'll probably review it next year because it'll be its 20-year anniversary next year. But we have reviewed Boogie Nights, Phantom Thread, and Licorice Pizza. I think I don't think we've reviewed any others. But yeah, no. And I mean, I've seen.
We haven't reviewed any that came out since before we've been doing the podcast.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we're doing Boogie Nights. Fucking hell.
I
just like to say wrong things directly after you've. That's my thing.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, but so, of course, you have seen There Will Be Blood. Where do you think this stacks up in terms of? Do you think it's better than There Will Be Blood,
or not as good as There Will Be Blood?
What about Boogie Nights?
I think Boogie. The thing is, they're very different films in a way. Boogie Nights was had a very fun energy. My instinct is to say,
to be honest, this is I think this movie in the second
it does have
part,
fun energy. Yeah.
It does have it. It's more obviously there's the matter of life and death, so it's more not as
a bit
fun.
more intense.
Yeah,
What I would say probably is that in broad terms, worse than There Will Be Blood, better than Licorice Pizza, and about on par with Boogie Nights is my memory, but I also weirdly can't actually remember Boogie Nights that well.
Yeah, I think Boogie Nights again could have been better, but it was yeah about on par. The thing is with There Will Be Blood, like it's his most serious movie. It's not fun, is it? There Will Be Blood.
No.
It's not a fun movie.
It doesn't say there will be fun.
Again, it's very different to this movie or Boogie Nights, but yeah, and that's why it kind of goes into the category of masterpiece, even if it isn't as watchable, because there's a more serious tone. But this could have, I think, been both. It could have been very watchable, and it could have been, it could have been his best. Like I think the ingredients were there, but he just didn't want to do it because he's, and that's fair enough. If you're not interested in something, you don't have to go down that path. But I think it would have made the movie better, perhaps, if he again explored some of those dynamics which weren't explored.
Done that.
Yes, because the first part of the movie sets up something and then it doesn't like follow through as much as I thought it would in the second part, and I think that limits the movie. But we will talk about that more in a bit. So, yes. Michael, have you got any nitpicks?
Oh, yes, I do. One.
Okay, tell me.
I don't even know if it's a nitpick because it's kind of funny, I guess. I just wrote that it's funny that when he's hiding from like ICE or whatever, he goes into one store that has like giant windows all across, the street view. So he has to like hide, and I was thinking like, man, there could not be more windows in this place. It's basically just, I was like, isn't that funny when he goes to see Benicio del Toro?
Well, it is funny, and that's part of it's a kind of a comedy.
So that's my nitpick. I hate the movie.
Anyway, let's get into the plot now.
Washed up revolutionary Bob exists in a state of stoned paranoia, surviving off-grid with his spirited, self-reliant daughter Willa, when his corrupt evil nemesis resurfaces after 16 years and she goes missing. The former radical scrambles to find her, father and daughter both battling the consequence of his past. You could say one battling after another the consequences of his past. There aren't that many battles. I mean, there's not the implication of one battle after another would just be like constant battles. It's really just two battles. The battle at the start and then the battle in the end.
The real battle is raising kids.
Yeah, that's a big challenge, I'm told.
Yeah. I think that's the point he's kind of making, perhaps. PTA.
It's about family, and that's what makes it so special.
Obviously, it's a revolutionary left-wing group that is, the protagonists are a part of this group, and then it becomes, a movie about family, and that's what makes it so powerful. But yeah, again, we talked about, the first part of the movie, which again sets up a potentially serious political movie, a serious political thriller, of course, and then it turns into a cat and mouse, as you said that phrase, right?
I did say cat and mouse. Yes, I did.
Yeah, that's what it turns into in the second part, which again, as we say, focus on family dynamics, which PTA likes. That's what he always goes back to, and again, we get it in this movie. And yeah, it was interesting because I was watching I'd heard like very good reviews before I watched this, and it was like, oh, it's a fun movie. Wow, that was I had a great time watching it. And again, watching the first 30 minutes, what you got, Perfidia, I think that's her name.
Yes, like 50 Cent.
Yeah, so when Perfidia, of course, escapes, that's when the movie changes, and then after that, it's a different movie. But before then, I was like, this isn't that like fun. It's engaging. I like it, but it's not what I thought it would be. And of course, things change as we move 16 years into the future, which again it's fine. But I think there was perhaps something missing from the second part again, which I've said. Do you agree with that?
I do. For me, like the real thing that was like encapsulates the missingness of this film is I don't feel like there were any great dialogue scenes in this film, and I would almost go so far as to say I don't know if there are even any great scenes. Obviously you can compare this to, well, obviously There Will Be Blood, but also like No Country for Old Men is kind of, there's a similar thing going on here where it's like you've got like a hitman chase or whatever, and obviously there's a lot of really good Oscar movies. They do have that scene that you see recommended on YouTube, and you're like, oh, I just want to watch that scene because it's so intense and awesome.
Well, I suppose that scene would be the ending, but I really do think there are quite a lot of great scenes. I think that is what makes it watchable, which is what I've been saying about it. It's because of these great scenes, which are very engaging and entertaining, and especially with the Christmas Adventurers Club, the couple of scenes you get with them.
Yeah, I do like the Christmas Adventurers.
Yeah, again,
I mean, it is Christmas. We didn't even mention that as it was Christmas.
Yeah, those couple of scenes with them, Lockjaw's in one of them and he isn't in the other, of course. Yeah, those are great scenes. So I completely disagree on that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, well, it's important to agree to disagree, is what I would say. Would you like to hear about the development, Luke?
Sure.
Okay. Paul Thomas Anderson had considered adapting the 1990 novel Vineland by Thomas Pynchon since the early 2000s, but struggled believing his love for the novel would get in the way of his ability to fairly rework it. Instead, he set aside working on an adaptation and envisioned two ideas, one about an action car chase movie and one about a female revolutionary. Oh, that's just Mad Max. One battle after another emerged as a combination of those two stories with some elements of Vineland, particularly the father-daughter dynamic. This is interesting. I knew that Vineland was a book. I didn't realize it was by Thomas Pynchon, who the only thing I know about him is he's in The Simpsons and he wears a bag on his head.
I did have some thoughts. Why adapt Vineland now? Because obviously, the movie is set in the modern day. I mean, of course, what happens in 16 years ago would have been like 2008 or 2009 or whatever. But yeah, it's as modern as it can be. And what the far left revolutionaries in this movie are protesting is the detainment of immigrants, which has become a particularly salient issue, hasn't it, in the United States recently?
Yeah, recently, as in yesterday, if I remember correctly. Like it actually, for the first time, something bad happened recently. So
yeah. And in the past few years, of course, with Trump being president and then running for president, it's all been about immigration and ICE. So I thought maybe that's why PTA chose to make this movie. But
yes.
Again, he doesn't really focus on that so much, on like why the revolutionaries are doing what they're doing. He doesn't get into the weeds of their motivations. It's
a palpable absence.
Yeah, it's really about the aesthetics and the vibe of the revolutionary group, more than the actual substance of what they're doing. And therefore, you have to say, why adapt this movie now? Probably because he also has a mixed race daughter, I believe he does, who is probably the same age that Willa is in this movie. So there you go. That's probably his motivation as to why he made this movie now, and he just put it in a modern context, because is this movie like
is it woke?
Is it woke? Is it decrying the recent efforts of the Trump administration? Of course, he wrote this and filmed it probably before he was elected president for the second time. But yeah, like is it decrying the immigration? Well, kind of, but not really.
It just kind of presents it. It doesn't really like have a point about that issue.
So if Kamala had been elected in 2024, and we'd still get this movie basically. I don't think it's influenced by Trump that
it's
much.
No Borat 2.
No, exactly. Yeah, he's just like, how can I put this book Vineland in a modern context? What are these far left revolutionaries? Yeah. Okay, they're getting these immigrants out of these ICE prisons, whatever they are.
Yeah, but even then, so what I'm interested is, I don't know if we know what year this movie's set in, but obviously, like a lot of the ICE stuff is set 16 years prior.
Well, ICE did exist, 16 years prior. Yeah,
well, I thought Trump invented them. That's not true. I didn't really think that. Yeah, I'm just with this. So I guess 16 years ago, was that Bush? Am I being stupid? Wait, when was it? Wait, 16, that was Obozo.
Yeah, well,
he didn't deport anyone.
Yeah, it was it doesn't really matter. So but again, what would these guys be protesting? I mean, again, you could have done something regarding Occupy Wall Street, because that was going on back in the day. Again, they need to be going against like this military figure, in Lockjaw. Yeah, it's a weird how this movie is political, but doesn't really care about that, and just uses it again as a plot device. It
is really interesting. Yeah, and this was also something I was kind of thinking as I was watching it, because I was like, obviously, because the only thing I knew about this movie going into it was that it was about like a left-wing revolutionary domestic terrorist group, and I was like, ooh, what's going on here? And I was like, oh, surprisingly. It's interesting how much they could have, like, the movie could have been the same even if they weren't political. Like, even if they were just, like, I don't know, even if they were just generic, like, bank robbers or something, almost everything about the movie could have remained exactly the same.
Well, exactly.
Still had this, like, guy with a, grievance against them.
Because it's all about the aesthetic and the vibe of these people. Like, you never hear Leonardo DiCaprio's character ever talk about why he's part of this group, like what motivated him, why he's doing what he's doing. Really, like
he dunks on the non-binaries.
It never fucking comes up, and that's again, it's kind of frustrating in that regard. But yeah, let's get into the script now.
Yes, Pat Calhoun and Perfidia Beverly Hills are members of a far-left revolutionary group, the French 75. While breaking out detained immigrants from a detention center, Perfidia sexually humiliates the commanding officer, Stephen J. Lockjaw, who afterward becomes obsessed with her. Yeah, I mean, look, I would say this. Is he a bad guy? Yeah. Is it impressive he can get an erection seemingly on command at his age? It's pretty impressive. I'm just saying, they always say that, left wingers are low T and the right wing alphas are high T. It's got to be pretty high T to be standing at attention at that age, is what I would say. I don't know if that's kind of like what you wrote down as one of your primary notes.
Maybe we should have talked about this before when talking about the fact, obviously, it's adapted from the novel Vineland. Of course, Vineland is about 70s style or 60s style resistance, and
yes,
this group is called the French 75. Probably talk about the French Revolution, I imagine, something like that. I don't know. Oh, that's what it refers to. You didn't clock that.
Well, I guess in my head I was thinking 1975, and I was thinking just the French. Well, the thing is, the French are always revolting. I guess that's
yeah, but probably 1 year in particular they revolted.
Yeah.
In 70, I don't know. It's just a guess, because
I believe you.
They say "Vive la Révolution." Vineland is set in the 60s, 70s, and you can imagine there was this revolutionary group called the French 75, back in the 60s and 70s. But these groups don't exist in the modern day, and they didn't exist in the 2000s or the 2010s.
Yeah.
And
globalize the Intifada.
What we are seeing here is, again, a very 70s style resistance. It's set in the year, again, you have to assume 2008 or 2009, and there's this dissonance between who these people are, and actually, again, I
noticed that too.
This just doesn't happen nowadays, so that doesn't feel real, and he's forcing what happened in Vineland into a modern context, and again, he's trying his best, but it just doesn't fit, and that stood out to me.
No, yeah, I was thinking that too. I mean, I guess the closest we have is some of the Palestine people and also climate activists do similar. I mean, I don't know. I think there are some revolutionary vegan groups who sabotage stuff and things like that. Because obviously we reviewed that Fred Hampton and the Black Messiah movie, and that was all about how they had proper. They used to be serious.
Yeah, but again, there's a difference between climate change stuff and this, which is again basically engaging in a military operation to break out illegal immigrants from again, it's like a prison, it's a detainment center as they'd call it. So yeah, again, that's pretty significant and different to again what you see with any climate change activism nowadays. But yeah, let's move on.
Pat and Perfidia become lovers, but when Lockjaw catches Perfidia planting a bomb, he releases her after she agrees to his demand to later meet him for sex. Yes, so this is an interesting dynamic. I suppose it's another example. You kind of already said it's a shame we don't see more of Perfidia. And unlike you, I don't think that just for sexual reasons, but rather I think she introduced quite an interesting dynamic to her relationship with characters, and you kind of that was an interesting thing. I was with her and Lockjaw, where I was oh man, that's something you don't see every day. Just to jump straight to bad guy's got the hots for this chick.
Yeah.
Real Frollo and Esmeralda.
He's the psychosexual. There we go. That I'm going to use that term. The psychosexual hang-ups of these right wingers. You mentioned it before. Esmeralda and who was that?
Frollo, Jean-Claude Frodo.
In what?
The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
That's it. The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Which is a French movie. So it all connects. And yeah, it reminds me of this. These memes. It's the most racist guy on earth. In America at least. But of course, he has a Filipino wife. Yes. It's the same kind of thing. It's I hate them, but at the same time, I want to almost fetishize them. There's and that's part of why he perhaps hates them, because he is sexually attracted to them. that scene where Sean Penn goes, "Do you like black girls? I love them." That's fucking great.
Yeah,
as well.
So casual chat. He didn't even know who Leonardo. He just says that to everyone.
Yeah. So I think that's very funny. Well, yeah, Lockjaw's a great character, as we'll get into, but yeah, it's definitely something
Yes.
that PTA is picking up on. The psychosexual hang-ups of these right wingers, which of course exists
No, yes.
as we're aware of. Yeah.
Absolutely. After Perfidia gives birth to a girl named Charlene, Pat tries to persuade her to settle down, but she abandons Pat and Charlene to continue her revolutionary activities. Yes, she don't need no man, is kind of what she says.
Yeah,
Says, "You was trying to hold me down with a patriarchy."
This is what your wife is going to do.
I know, yeah, that's what I'm concerned. Well, also, this is what Homer Simpson's mum did. I was thinking that too. I was like, oh, this is going to be like The Simpsons.
Yeah, and Homer Simpson's mum, of course, she did her activism in the 60s, right?
Yes, exactly. It makes sense.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that it is interesting that there is this conflict which is set up. Perfidia, she wants to be committed to the resistance, and also, she is a mother now. That's an interesting conflict, and it just kind of goes away, and it's never brought back until the very last scene in the movie where she just says, "Yeah, I was wrong." She should. When I say she should be in the movie more, what I mean by that is she should have a bigger influence. Her character doesn't maybe have to return, but yeah, it just feels like a very, again, interesting dynamic. Her, like, what she feels about the revolution, what she feels about being a mother, and of course then how it affects her daughter. And that isn't really focused on in the second part of the movie. She is almost forgotten about, apart from a few lines here and there, which is again
crazy,
kind of frustrating.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I would agree, because she's a very big part of early on. Perfidia is arrested after murdering a security guard in an armed bank robbery. Lockjaw arranges for her to avoid prison in exchange for names and whereabouts of key French 75 members. Lockjaw hunts down and summarily executes her comrades. Pat and Charlene get stolen identities as Bob and Willa Ferguson, while Perfidia flees witness protection for Mexico. Yes, so this is another thing about Perfidia that's like very interesting. I mean, you're like, wow, who is this woman who is so committed to the cause, but then like she's kind of got this thing where like that's pretty self-serving, pretty not great. I don't know if they really explore her very much.
Well, exactly. Like, it seems like a very interesting character decision. Like, why does she betray everyone? Well, obviously, she doesn't want to serve 40 years in prison, but it's a pretty big thing, to give up everyone. And yeah, all of this first part of the movie is just to set up the actual movie that PTA wanted to make. That's what it feels like. And these dynamic
glorified prologue.
Yeah, well, that's what it is, really. I think you summed it up very well there. A glorified prologue, and it's again kind of frustrating because there's some interesting stuff here, which, like we said, is kind of dropped because we get into the cat and mouse plot afterwards, and a kind of a screwball movie. It's a kind of a screwball. Well, it's described as a black comedy, but we get a lot of focus on Bob, Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is inherently kind of comedic. He's a funny character, and the second part of the movie is him constantly in doing like silly stuff or like saying funny lines, and I feel like PTA was more comfortable with that rather than focusing on this character, and that's why, as you say, it is just a glorified prologue. This could have been a much more interesting. Well, I say interesting. It could have been a much more serious movie.
Yes. Through his vehement anti-immigration efforts, Lockjaw has become a colonel and a prominent figure within the US security agencies. When Lockjaw is invited to become a member of the Christmas Adventurers Club, a white supremacist secret society, he seeks to kill Willa to hide his past interracial relationship with Perfidia. Yeah, I'm surprised that they're so exclusionary towards racist hypocrites. I thought like that would have been okay, to be honest. But yeah, this is like, it's kind of interesting. This is like the driver of the plot. Like, in a way, the plot wouldn't exist but for this guy who wants to join a racist club, wanting to prove he's, well, I was going to say prove he's not a hypocrite, I guess, to get rid of the evidence he is one. Like that's kind of quite a strange, what's the word I'm looking for? When someone's like inciting incident, that's it.
Yeah. Well, this kickstarts the plot, doesn't it? He had a daughter with this other revolutionary, of course, and he's trying to cover it up, which is interesting. And then you get the Christmas Adventurers Club. You get to introduce these guys, and these scenes are really good. So I'm okay with it. And yeah, well, the scene with Lockjaw in that meeting is great. He is such a great character. I love this guy. Sean Penn is just so good.
Yes.
I think I think there's some good performances. Benicio del Toro, Leonardo DiCaprio, James Finity, even Tiana Taylor, even though she's not in it for much. But I think the best performance in the movie is Sean Penn. Tell me, do you agree with that?
You know what? I do agree with that. And I'm not going to lie, also at the same time, I didn't realize it was Sean Penn, but I think it's more just a case of me not remembering the name of the actor, because I was like staring at him the whole time, and whole time. But like, until about halfway through, I was like, screw it, I'm just going to look it up. Yeah, I was like staring, I was like, man, who is that guy? But yeah, that's the thing. Obviously you can tell he's Sean Penn once you've just looked up that he's Sean Penn. And he looks like Sean Penn. But like, he is embodying, like he's acting. It very, very conspicuously. He's acting, but in like a good way. Like when I say conspicuous, I mean like you can tell that he is embodying a totally different person. I saw someone else like on Twitter recently. For some reason, I just happened to see someone being like, they posted a clip of Leo from this movie, and like, man, he's such a great actor in this movie. It's like he is fine, but I wouldn't say there's anything in here where I'm like, oh man, Leonardo DiCaprio just feels like totally different from anything I've ever seen him before. Whereas I would say Sean Penn's really kind of achieving that.
Yeah, like Leo plays a character which I think I've seen him do before, which is kind of like a bozo, like a kind of character. I feel like, Sean Penn. Well, I don't know if he's done anything like this before, but the character is so well defined, so unique. And one of the things that PTA does is he lets his actors cook. He lets them cook, and I think you can see with this I'm very much on the bandwagon for Sean Penn to be nominated and win best supporting actor. I don't know, again, who knows if he has a chance, because he's already won an Oscar, I think. So that affects things, of course. But yeah, I think he's great.
No, yeah, I could absolutely see him winning if there's justice in the world. Meanwhile, living off the grid in Backton Cross, Bob has become a paranoid stoner. He is protective of Willa, now a teenager, who resents his substance abuse. Yeah, so it's kind of interesting. You'd think like maybe with this they'd be like, oh, we're going to set up a redemption story. And I guess they do kind of have a bit of a redemption story for Bob. But it's like...
It is. That's
a redemption story.
That is what it is, yeah. I mean, the point is, he's a loser, but he cares about Will more than anything, and that's what matters more than anything. Which, of course, we eventually see in the finale, one of the final scenes. But yeah, it's interesting, the dynamic between these two, because of course Bob is, Bob and Willa Ferguson died, and so these two characters, Pat and Charlene, I think was Willa's original name, and Bob, if you didn't catch the line, Bob was the son and Willa was the mother. The two original people who had that name. So yeah, I think it's clear what PTA is trying to do there. It's quite
she's taking care of him.
Yeah. Every scene. This is what I put down in my notes, and I think this is true. Every scene is watchable, because that scene when Leo was talking to his kids' friends, that's just very funny. Again, like it's just funny, and he's doing a good job. And was this the clip you were talking about before?
Yes.
Yeah. Why people like Leo's so funny in this movie. I think he is good. He's not quite Sean Penn, but yeah, like again, this is these scenes are constantly in the movie. You never get a dull moment. There never is a dull moment watching this movie. I think again, what we see with these scenes is obviously the film pivoting from this philosophical look at the revolution to this family drama, which again is what PTA is more comfortable with.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I suppose in a way that means it should be getting better. Logically, should be getting even better because he's in his wheelhouse. Lockjaw sends troops to Backton Cross using an immigration and drug operation as cover. French 75 member Deandra rescues Willa before her school dance is raided. Bob is warned by the French 75 about Lockjaw, whose men then raid his house. This is good. The thing is, I mean, I kind of already... I don't know if I said this yet. I think that it's a very, like, basic plot. And it is kind of just, like, a lot of the stuff that happens, it's just like, this thing happens to get things in progress. But, I don't really have too much to say about it. What about you?
No, I mean, what did we say before? Cat and mouse. The cat and mouse thing that's Tom and Jerry. It's Tom and Jerry, complicated TV show. No, it's not. It's for kids. Oh no! Obviously,
it's racist.
Obviously, you don't need to be literal when cat and mouse doesn't literally mean cat and mouse, but it's simple. One guy is trying to catch another guy. So this is what's happening, and I think it's a good moment when Willa's phone thing goes off. So
Yes.
I like that moment. That was good. But yeah, I think it's interesting that Bob is watching a movie and getting high. I think it's the Battle of Algiers he's watching, which is a movie I think he would be watching. Did you catch that?
I did not watch the movie he was. I mean, I did not catch the movie he was watching, but yeah. I mean, that definitely shows the kind of guy he is.
Yeah, I think there's enough reference to Algiers. That's where Perfidia is apparently, or Cuba. But yeah, it was this scene which made me think. Well, obviously, I think PTA wanted to make this movie because he has mixed race daughters. He struggles to maybe, I don't know, connect to them. I don't know. Like he makes movies about his own issues. But yeah, this certainly seemed like this was this was definitely like what Bob is doing in this scene. This is what PTA would be doing. Watching a movie like the Battle of Algiers, getting
self-insert.
Yeah, getting high, exactly, like a stand-in for himself, a self-insert. Yeah, so I maybe I'm reading too much into that, but yeah, I think that might be the case.
No, I would imagine you're absolutely right. Which I mean, that's often I think quite a good thing when you see a bit of the director in the characters, because it means that it makes it more of a self-expression. I suppose that's the one thing that we can appreciate, because when you have an auteur, I like to think they're putting something of themselves into their stories.
Yeah,
he's a waste of space stoner. That's what I've concluded about WTA.
Yeah, so we've already talked about
WTA.
I don't know, the World Tennis Association. But yeah, so we've obviously talked about how kind of non-political this movie is. So yeah, you're going to get into that now.
Yes, I am. How political is this movie? Paul Thomas Anderson has always prioritized the internal lives of his characters over the systems they inhabit. In this film, the revolution isn't a set of ideas, it's a lifestyle and a source of adrenaline. Despite the subject matter, the movie can be said to be not a political movie. The film forewent deep questions about ideology and sacrifice in favor of spectacle, potentially making the movie entertaining but empty. Yeah, I think that does make sense. Obviously, even There Will Be Blood doesn't really have that much to say about the politics of the oil industry, even though it's about all other stuff, but yeah.
There Will Be Blood is a serious movie. I won't describe it as empty because it's it's also about capitalism.
Yes.
Which again, this movie is not about anything like that. There's no like deeper metaphor going on, is there?
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it'd be So that little paragraph, do you agree with it?
No. Yeah. I absolutely do. I mean, like obviously, like not. With it being empty, I guess you could say that it still has stuff in it, but it's not exploring this idea that you would think is pregnant with opportunities for exploration.
And one of the revolutionaries is marked for saying that's a trigger noise. The guy on the phone. Their politics is used for comedic relief.
Yes.
Rather than getting into the weeds. It reminds me of this discussion of a tweet I saw, which is someone tweeted, again, this was about a month ago. For my money, one battle after another is very easy to enjoy, which is what we've kind of been saying. But if it is easy to enjoy if you have no illusions that Paul Thomas Anderson is a politically serious filmmaker, and I think that's he's not. But the movie is about on the surface it's political, but actually beneath the surface it's not. So there you go.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a good assessment. And obviously, there's also the aspect of not every film has to be about a given thing, but it has to be about something.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is about something. It's about the relationship between a father and a daughter. That's what the main thing. But again, it could have been that, and also a politically serious movie. That's where I said before at the start. It could have been a masterpiece. It could have been, but it's not.
Bob tries to coordinate with the resistance over a payphone, but cannot remember their greeting code. Sergio San Carlos, Willa's karate sensei and community leader, helps him while evacuating immigrants via a hidden passage. While fleeing with Sergio's students across rooftops, Bob falls and is arrested. Yes, good. Here's a fun thing that happened. I actually somehow blanked out Bob falling and getting arrested. It was really weird because I was watching the movie, I was paying attention, and then I must have just thought about something really interesting or something. And then the next scene, Bob was in the police station or whatever, being taken in. I was like, oh, but can I just so I know, am I right that it wasn't a really protracted scene where he falls and gets arrested? It's just there's a lot of chaos and then he falls and then the police come and they pick him up. It's not a really long scene.
Did you forget that he got tased?
Well, again, I feel like what happened is that I was like thinking about something really
Okay.
important, and I just didn't mentally process the fact he got. Like, I probably watched him get tased.
Okay,
I didn't
right.
mentally process that was happening.
No, you don't tend to mentally process things, do you?
No.
But yeah, he got tased, and that's why he got arrested.
This explains everything.
It's great. Again, it talk about how watchable this movie is. You know, there's the end sequence, which we'll get to, which is really fun and dramatic, and there's a lot of tension. And this part where he's escaping, where he finds Benicio del Toro, the sensei, and then he helps him escape. And then, of course, all this effort, into getting him to the rendezvous point, and then he just falls off a roof and then gets tased and arrested again. Yeah, farcical again. Screwball-esque, if you will. But again, it's fun, it's entertaining, and you have this score that's going on in the background, which is mysterious, it's quirky, it's kind of a light sound. It's a perfect score.
The music is interesting for this, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that again, I can't replicate it, but you know what I mean. It's very good. It fits the tone very well. We have some humor with this revolutionary customer service guy who is on this resistance hotline, who just will not help Bob, and I think that's a funny concept. Like, I can't remember the fucking code for this this revolutionary hotline. I can't fucking remember it. That's funny.
It's very relatable. We've all had those experiences with customer service people.
Yeah, and doing it in this context, that's trying to get to a rendezvous point to see his daughter when he's fleeing from the military. Yeah, that's funny. It's absurd. I like it. And then when he calls in the Greyhawk 10, I like that. I like that moment. That's a good climax to the bit. And Benicio del Toro is sitting there like fucking nitpicking asshole. He's just bagging him up. Like, yes. It's so good. Again, I love these scenes. They're great. It's
the little things.
Yeah, it is the little things. Like, he's just very good, PTA. He's very good at what he does. It's just maybe he could expand a bit, but of course that's it's not the worst criticism ever. But what you're watching is always very good. And so the sequence when Bob is trying to escape is very watchable. I like it a lot.
No, yeah, absolutely. It's hectic. I think it's probably the most entertaining, because towards the end it's kind of gets a little bit more, I don't know, a little bit more simple, a little bit more streamlined in a way where it's kind of like, it's more fun, but it's just everywhere.
Well, the ending is, you're right, this is hectic. The ending has more tension.
Yes.
Yes, which I think is the better way. The ending having more tension is better than this, which again, there is still some tension, of course, going on. But it's more light, which makes it a fun. It goes on for like 20 minutes. This whole sequence from when Bob is going, escaping in his tunnel, to when he gets arrested. It's good though. I enjoy it a lot. Yeah.
Deandra takes Willa to a convent of revolutionary nuns, where she is told the truth about her mother's betrayal of the cause. Yeah. So, I mean, do you want to use this as an opportunity to complain about her mum not having enough of a role?
Well,
he's
exactly.
trying to keep a black woman down.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
That's what he did when he conceived his child. He kept her down because he banged her.
Oh, right. Well, that's not really, an entendre, is it? Kept her down,
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. What consequences are there to Willa finding out her mother betrayed the cause? It doesn't feel
Zero.
It doesn't feel like there is any consequences. Again, this is it should be a big moment, but again, her mother is forgotten. It feels like an underdeveloped storyline considering what you set up in the first part. It feels glossed over, and when she finds out, it should feel like a big deal, but it doesn't. And again, what are the consequences? Like you just said, there are not really any consequences from her finding out this this revelation that her mother betrayed the French 75. So it's again, this moment highlights to me the issue of like I said, how underdeveloped this storyline is.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think that's you've nailed it. But you know what's a more interesting storyline? The Christmas adventurers find evidence of Lockjaw's relationship with Perfidia and send member Tim Smith to kill him and Willa. Yes, good. I mean, you really like these guys. I think that they've got an interesting vibe.
Let's take.
Oh, sorry, I was just mean you agree with their politics.
Yeah, I don't really like these guys. I really like the scenes that they're in. They're entertaining, and it's such a great scene when the old guy says, "So clean we can eat off the floor," or what he said. That's just a great delivery. You can feel how evil this room is. It's so like the room itself is very uncanny valley. You know, I don't know. It's just
it is a strange room. Yeah,
it is such a strange room. Like you got because obviously it's very formal, business-like, and then the background is all like wildlife, which is of course artificial because they're underground. It's it's a great, very, very strange room. I don't know how PTA came up with it. Maybe he was inspired by another a movie that he watched back in the day, probably. But yeah, like the line that they all say because they're the Christmas Adventurers Club, which we haven't talked about.
They all say like "All hail Saint Nick."
Yeah, which almost sounds like "All hail Satan," doesn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
That's a weird coincidence.
Yes, I do wonder why they'd want to kill Lockjaw. What's the point? Or is it the case that once somebody finds out about their group and they're not admitted, they have to kill him, and obviously he's not going to be admitted. Is that the deal? Because yeah, I don't know. Maybe that is the deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking like why go to
no,
the
yeah,
end
yeah. It doesn't really make much sense. And you think like they've got to kill a lot of people. Like if every single time that they find someone who's like disappointing or whatever, they're like, "Yep, we got to murder him. It's the only solution." They're going to have to kill so many people.
Well,
it's not practical.
From what I can gather, it's if one person dies, another person can get in. So they probably don't have to do it a lot.
All right,
but yeah,
that's relief then.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, practically. But yeah. Anyway,
we don't want the poor Nazis to die.
Great scene, and shout out to the Christmas Adventurers Club. Not in terms of their politics, but in terms of how entertaining they are.
No, yeah, absolutely, and I think that's at the end of the day. I mean, Nick Fuentes, right? He's a funny guy, and that's okay.
Yeah, well, I don't think Nick Fuentes would be allowed in this group.
Oh no, yes, he wouldn't. Yeah, and that's how you know they're racist. Okay.
Yes,
that's my litmus test.
So yeah, we're going to get into the shadow culture or the cultures going on in this movie because this is something that I noticed, and I want you to read this little paragraph going into it. Yeah.
Shadow culture. The French 75 and the Christmas Adventurers Club function as two sides of the same coin. Hello, centrist. Although they sit at opposite ends of the political spectrum.
No, so sorry. Like this is what PTA is kind of doing with this movie. Okay, so this is not what I think. This is what he has created in this movie. He's created two sides of the same coin, and you'll see why he's done that with these parallels. Yeah.
They're both as bad as each other, and if the French 75 had simply had a reasonable conversation with the Christmas Adventurers Club, it would have been a lot better. They both exist in a shadow world beneath the surface of American society. In both groups, tunnels represent a rejection of the surface world, the public, the law, and status quo. Following the themes of Vineland, the group represent an us versus them dynamic. The French 75 are the misfits and freaks living on the radical edge of the left. The Christmas Adventurers Club are the elites who have moved to the fringe by choice, creating a gated, secret society because they believe the rest of the world is impure. The use of us versus them systems relies on the same hierarchies. Even though the adventurers are wealthy and the French 75 are stoned radicals, both are obsessed with their own internal rules, rituals, and language. I do like that point about, it's interesting that, there is a motif of tunnels in this movie.
Yeah,
you're not wrong.
Yeah, I thought that one. Obviously, this is why I decided to explore this when Tim Smith, as it was, he goes underground into this tunnel, and it's like, that's, Bob was just in the tunnel, recently, and therefore you could look at, and this is what PTA kind of does, he looks at Christmas Adventurers Club and the French 75 as two sides of the same coin. Now, of course, I think he definitely does that somewhat, and obviously he does not think that they're the same politically. He thinks one is a lot worse politically, no doubt about that. But yeah, I think it's this goes to highlight, how like non-political the movie is, because if you were doing this movie and wanted to make it more political, I don't think there's any way you would like compare and show the parallels between these two groups.
No,
you just won't do that. But clearly,
yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
they are similar in quite a few ways. The tunnels, as we talked about, their own internal rules, the rituals, the language, they're the same in a lot of ways. Which again, if you were really interested in making a political movie, that of course you would imagine would favour the French 75, because they are meant to be the good guys compared to the Christmas Adventurers Club. You would not do this. You would not make these comparisons obvious. So yeah, what do you think?
No, yeah, I absolutely agree. That's like a really good point about how if you did want to, like, by making it an explicitly political movie, you close yourself off to certain avenues you could otherwise explore. And I think that idea, I mean, again, it is something that still would have worked a lot better if this movie was actually set in the 60s, because that was like the decade of the counterculture, all of these subcultures and all that kind of stuff. So it kind of would have worked better there. In part, I guess, also because nowadays, while there are a lot of countercultures, there's almost so many that at this point you're a weirdo if you're in the mainstream. So, yeah, I think it maybe speaks to how the film would have been better served by being a period piece. But I would definitely agree that it does touch on, I guess, secret societies, all that jazz.
Yeah, if you're just like comparing these two, look at how the secret society is kind of similar to this one, even though
the popular hit show Stranger Things.
Yes, if you were again, they're politically so far apart. Like it's a very, as you said before, like centrist take. It's like, oh look, hey, they're very different politically, but it's the horseshoe theory. Like they're closer together than they'd like to think. Again, I just think that kind of talk is bullshit. But that's what PTA kind of does in this movie, which again. Is frustrating, somewhat, because it shows again how non-political it is. Let's move on to using this analysis that you've just read out. Let's move on to how Colonel Lockjaw connects these two worlds.
While the revolutionaries and the elites think they are hiding from the world, Lockjaw is the one who walks through both of their doors. To the French 75, he is the hunter. To the Christmas Adventurers Club, he is a protector. He shares their law and order philosophy. He uses the power of the state to shield the elite fringe while crushing the radical fringe. However, he turns a political struggle into a personal cat-and-mouse game. He takes a grand ideological battle and turns it into a private battle. Yes, that's an accurate description of Colonel Lockjaw.
So this is why I think PTA included, the plot of Colonel Lockjaw is actually the father of Willa Ferguson, because again, it could have been an ideological political battle, but because he has a personal interest in the French 75, therefore it turns into a private battle and it knocks the politics to one side. So again, you agree with that, right? Yeah.
No, absolutely, yeah. It's like he absolutely. I mean, they say the personal is political. Well, in this film, the personal is personal.
Yeah, well, again, because you're not thinking of like the political dynamics when Colonel Lockjaw is doing this shit, because he has a very personal motivation.
Yeah.
Which again like just inherently removes the politics from it. So that's how PTA does it.
Oh yeah, no, I'd absolutely agree. Lockjaw locates Willa at the convent where Deandra is arrested. Holding Willa hostage, he tests their DNA in front of her, confirming she is his daughter. Wow. So that means that she's half racist now.
Yeah, of course, before watching this movie, did you think, because obviously there's a lot of build-up, because it is a big moment, did you think that she would turn out to be his daughter?
Yeah, this is an interesting question, because I wasn't just passively watching or anything. How can you just passively watch these movies, man? Come on. No, to be fair, no, in that case, I actually was kind of thinking, like, I wonder, because in my head I was thinking, like, what would be the more... Like, I was trying to work out where the film was trying to go and, like, what angle it was going to go down.
Yeah, that's fair.
I was, like, thinking to myself. But the thing is, I didn't reach a conclusion before we actually found it out. Like, I was kind of, like, I was thinking, like, which way is it going to go? And I couldn't, like, work out in my head whether there was an option that especially made more sense for this story. Because I guess... if he wasn't, they easily still could have told like a story about whatever. Maybe he'd be angry about that. Maybe deep down, even though like there's loads of ways they could have taken it. So I didn't know what to expect, but whatever happened.
He said like, "Oh yeah, if you're not my daughter, you're free to go." And I was like, "Oh yeah, okay, well then she's going to be his daughter because obviously that creates an interesting."
I was thinking that the hitman they'd hired I think this is sort of the nugget of an idea I had in my head. Not to say this was a better idea, which is what I was thinking might happen, which is that like Colonel Lockjaw would let her go, and it would be kind of like a subversive, like one of those like random things that happens that goes against the narrative, but it kind of feels subversive, where it's like he lets her go, but then like as he's like walking out or whatever, the hitman comes in and just like shoots him in the head, and she's like, ah! And like it's kind of just that's a surprising thing to have happened. I think that's what I was thinking might have happened.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Which I'm not saying that would have been better by any means. It's just a thing I thought.
Yeah, maybe, but yeah, I was pretty sure. Oh yeah, she is going to be his daughter because of course that would make things more interesting, and indeed that is the case. But it is a very fun scene, and yeah, that shot when Lockjaw looks up and he realizes that she is his daughter. Yeah, that's a great shot. Again, very very comedic, very good. Well done, PTA. Yeah.
He's a real director. He didn't have like Colonel Lockjaw just like fart or something. He actually kind of used the framing and the blocking and the sort of the performance to create a sort of more subtle humor, which I kind of was able to pick up on. Sergio arranges Bob's escape and drives him to the convent, throwing him out when police begin to pursue them, and later stalls the police when they catch up to his car. Bob steals another car and reaches the convent, unsuccessfully attempting to kill Lockjaw with Sergio's rifle. Yeah, I kind of like this moment because like it's just one of those things where it's like, yeah, it makes sense. He's really out of practice. Of course, he wouldn't be very good at shooting someone. It kind of feels like, you know, in a, I guess, worse movie, you'd have this thing where he actually does take the shot and it works out. And because, you know, he's like the hero or whatever. But yeah, like the fact he literally just like misses because he's shit. I enjoyed that. Yeah,
well, it is kind of a farcical movie, isn't it? So, yeah, I didn't expect him to hit, you know, Lockjaw. But yeah, I do shout out as well to Benicio del Toro for that line where he just says, have you been drinking any? Oh, the cop asks him, have you been drinking anything? And he says, just a few small beers, you know?
Yes.
That character is great, man. I love him. You know, I don't think, again, Sean Penn is better. So when it comes down to, you know, who's the best supporting actor in this movie, I'm going with Penn. But, you know, also well done to Del Toro.
He was good. And also I don't know, like maybe I'm crazy, but I feel like he often plays villains. Really often plays villains. So much so I feel like I'm like just immediately all of his roles came to mind. I was like, wait, they're all villains. So it was nice to see him as a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't play. Yeah. Anyway, Lockjaw hires Avanti to kill Willa, but after refusing over her age, Avanti is told to deliver her to a far-right militia instead. Avanti brings Willa to militia, but after a change of heart, frees her and is killed in a shootout with the militia. This was interesting. I will say, like, and again, it's fine, the film's farcical, but, like, at the same time, in a better movie, this would have been, like, a reason why I was like, oh, that's disappointing. Just because it's kind of like, it's fine, but it is always, like, one of those things where it makes the film less serious when a character just gets out of stuff by luck. And the fine thing is this movie is not serious, but it also kind of means you don't have to, like, come up with an effort to explain how she's going to get out of the situation, because like, oh, this guy who like she doesn't know at all just happens to be like, oh no, I decided to become good. It's fine, I'm not mad. I just, you know,
well, why does he do this?
Okay, why... good, I'm glad you implicitly agree with me.
why does Avanti, this Native American guy, why does he save Willa? Because it seems pretty random, you know.
I'm glad you agree with me.
Why do you keep saying that?
Oh, just because, like, sometimes I have opinions, and I don't know if my opinions are stupid, and the more people who agree with me, the more correct the opinion must be.
Yeah, again, if there was a better reason, I'd do it, but when this happened, I was kind of disappointed, because I'm like, that's something that, you know, that's kind of a basic, you know, plot moment. Wasn't that great. But yeah, I guess, you know, it sets up the ending.
Oh, no, yeah, absolutely, it does. Tim tracks down Lockjaw and shoots him in the face, causing his car to crash and leaving him presumed dead. Bob finds the crash site while searching for Willa. Look, I don't, whatever, we'll talk about Lockjaw having survived later. I was just going to say, like, you know, this guy, he seems like a really effective hitman. They really set up the fact, like, oh, this guy, make it very clean, keep it very clean, blah, blah, blah. He's, you know, he doesn't really do that, does he?
No, it's just such a funny moment because it's out of nowhere, and of course he's been told to make it clean, and he just shoots him in the face. Like, it is so unclean. And yeah, he didn't even check to see if Lockjaw was dead either. Again, I guess, you know, it's
amateur hour. It's
undercutting the Christmas Club or Adventurers Club and their, you know, what they think of themselves. You know, because he says, you know, if you are a member of the Christmas Adventurers Club, you're a superior man. You know,
yes,
he just does something so fucking stupid, like, and doesn't even kill him. So yeah.
Yes. No. Yeah. Absolutely. I was like thinking that. I was just like, okay. Willa takes Avanti's car, only for Tim to begin tailing her, with Bob frantically trying to catch up. Willa lures Tim into a crash by exploiting a blind summit. She shoots him dead when he fails to recite the revolutionary countersign. Yeah, so cool. Kind of like a little bit of just a easy solution to the main problem. You know, it's just like, you've got this big hitman chasing them, and this is like basically the first time, like, this guy is not a presence for the entire film, and he shows up, like, kills this one random guy, then chases her, and then basically immediately dies. So, whatever. I don't know. It's one of those things where you could say, oh, it's... I don't want to say subversive, but, you know, oh, it's not really what you'd expect or whatever. But I also feel like, I don't know, kind of, maybe I'm just a pleb who would have preferred it if the hitman had felt like slightly more of a threat. That's me though.
Well, he has just we think killed someone.
Yes.
We think he's just killed
a Nazi, so it's fine.
Lockjaw. This guy is perfectly capable of killing someone. But yeah, it is a great scene. I think again the tension, like the way PTA uses the geography of the road, the way it goes up and down. I wonder how long they had to search for a road like that, or whether whether he had one in mind. But yeah, it's so well done. I don't really understand as to why Tim, this hitman guy, why did he know that was Willa in that car?
It's a good question.
Yeah, like why did he know that? Because I don't understand, and it kind of undercuts everything for me, to be honest. Well, not everything, but yeah, it's just frustrating.
You refuse to ever watch this movie. No, yeah, and that is a good question though. So you are valid for asking it, and I don't have an answer myself, so can't answer. And I was kind of like a lot of this just felt, I don't know, it almost felt like weirdly rushed at the end. This is kind of my thoughts personally.
Maybe, but it is a very long movie though.
Yeah, so I guess it was justified in feeling rushed, but just crazy that they decided to rush it. Bob arrives and finds Willa, who demands the countersign at gunpoint, though Bob convinces her to stand down. They tearfully embrace as Bob drives them away. Yeah, it's funny to me that Bob, obviously, he just has so many issues with those damn countersigns. He just can't win.
Yeah,
it's really tough for him.
Yeah, I like that moment. Him saying, "Hey, I am your dad." Despite of course him not actually being her dad, because she is confused. She doesn't know what to think. Obviously, her whole world has been turned upside down. But that's her dad, even though of course he's not. But it is her dad.
Even though of course it's not.
Thank you.
It's just like the idea stuck in a loop forever.
It's even more powerful. And when she embraces him as her father, a very cathartic. Thank you. A very cathartic, heartfelt moment, which of course PTA likes. It's a great moment at the end. I think it's good.
Yeah, but not over yet. Lockjaw is revealed to have survived. Later on, a severely scarred Lockjaw is seemingly welcomed into the Christmas adventurers, but is fatally gassed and cremated shortly afterwards. I don't know why, I thought they were going to push him out the window. Just something about saying, in a way, I know this sounds really stupid, but I'm we'll show you your office. I just imagine they would open a door that would just go straight out of the building, and he just walk in oh, this looks nice, and then, dies because they don't like him. And to be fair, at that point they kind of have to kill him because
Yeah. Well, he still wants to join, and submit to this group. And at the end of the day, he is the real cook. I to be honest, I expected at some point in this review you'd refer to Bob as a cook for raising, the daughter of his enemy. But this guy that's why I put in my notes. He's the real cook.
He's cook supreme.
Yes, because. Yeah, even though they try to kill him, no, please let me join, and then he has to do the embarrassing thing of saying he was reverse raped. Which is again a funny scene. Shout out the Christmas Adventurers Club, but for the funny scenes. Yeah, and all the people as well who are on the outside of these clubs who want to be part of this club, who will do anything to be a part of them. But you can just be gassed and cremated like it's nothing.
Especially because it's a secret society. That means no one knows about you.
Yes.
Returning home with Willa, Bob gives her a letter from Perfidia, where she apologizes for her actions and vows to someday reunite with her family. Later, Bob gives Willa his blessing as she departs for a protest in Oakland. Yes, California.
Yes. Yeah, California. This is where I think this could have been a very big moment where Willa, gets this note from her mother, but because again, Perfidia has almost been forgotten throughout the whole movie. Only brought up here and there. It doesn't hit the same as it should, to be honest with you. Again, this should have been a really nice moment, but it's just a decent moment. As I've said throughout the movie, her influence, Perfidia's influence, it should have been there more.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think that is probably the biggest missed opportunity. Just the fact you have this character who feels like a big deal and then she gets forgotten. Honestly, in a weird way, I don't know. I almost feel like I want to conclude now. I was going to sound kind of concludey.
I will just say I do like the ending where obviously Willa is going out to this protest in Oakland, and fucking Bob is go on, just make sure you're safe, and one battle after another, constantly battling with his kids, Well, that's the real battle, the battle of being a parent, as I kind of said before. But again, it's it's a very political thing she's doing, but it's just treated as if she's like going, I don't know, to a concert, basically, instead of like actually doing what she's doing, which again kind of underscores the whole point that we've been making about how there's politics there, but it's not a very political movie,
The issue is, like, I think the Perfidia not being a presence kind of captures a vibe I get from this film. This film kind of almost feels like there were a lot of ideas that PTA had, and he couldn't... It was almost like he kind of gave up on a lot of them, in a way, where it's like he didn't actually come up with a plan where all of this stuff was interwoven together in a really satisfying way. Is it okay if I just give a rating? Seeing some kind of
give a rating.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, for me, like that's the big thing that's missing. It's also just the fact that a lot of the film, like I was kind of like thinking about the end. I was like, well, there's nothing in there that's like super great. Like the plot is like pretty basic. The characters are pretty basic insofar as they're utilized in the film. Like you've got some characters who are quite interesting, but not utilized in that interesting of a way. The film's like not like super interesting thematically. We really haven't had that much to talk about. And it's not even that interesting, like, emotionally. It's not challenging. You mentioned the idea of this film being, like, an easy watch, and it is. But having said that, I'm immediately aware of a definitive limit to how much I would want to rewatch this film. Like, I'll maybe watch it one more time, but as for, like, this being a film where it's like, oh, yeah, I'll just go back to it again and again. And in that regard, I don't think it helps that it's long, and I think this film would especially feel its length the longer you watch it. All of that, to me, I was going to say a high 7. I could go low 8 if I was being... I think genuinely, like, high 7, it needs to have a bit more theme, a bit more something to get to that 8 range for me.
Yeah, it's crazy that you're criticizing the movie for its length. You never do that. I gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, because, again, it could be deeper, could be more politically thematic. I think that would be better. But, again, like the one battle after another. Again, for PTA, the battle is not against the state, as you may assume it would be. No, it's the battle to be a father to a daughter, who you don't get on with as well as you would like, and of course, there is some conflict there, but he wins that battle in the end by saving her. And yeah, I do like again the ending. He's this washed up failure, Bob, but he's still there. He's still being Willa's father, and that means more than anything. And of course, you contrast that to Lockjaw's character, who wants to kill Willa. Actually, the movie isn't really about the revolution, which is again maybe frustrating, but he just uses that as a setting. But it could to explore this father-daughter relationship, but it could have been both. It could have been both, and that's why the frustration comes in. Yeah. But of course, it's still a very good movie, entertaining, watchable. And I think it's again not a masterpiece, so it's not that rewatchable. And 8.5 I think is fair, and it may win Best Picture. Anyway, what are we reviewing next week, Michael?
Oh wait, do I know? Sorry, you said, didn't you?
Yeah,
it's some woman movie, isn't it? Mary Chow or something. Hamlet, Shakespeare.
Yeah, Chloe Zhao.
Yes.
And her new Shakespeare movie, potentially, but maybe not. We'll see. It will be a movie that's been nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars. We will know that for sure.
Okay.
But that's it. Who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening, and see you next time. And viva la révolution.
Vive le Jean, as they say in France.
Yeah, I realised I said viva. Vive la révolution. Goodbye.
Goodbye.